This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by KAISY KHADEMI for the first time in 2021. KAISY, how are you?
Yeah, no, but thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate you giving up some time today. It's a Saturday, so I'm not sure kind of if you're training or if you're still rest day, obviously fighting next week.
No, I'm gonna go for. I just got a jog today. I got a little run today. That's it. Yeah.
Now, KAISY, talk to me about your preparations ahead of your ring return. You haven't fought since 2019. You haven't been able to get out during this pandemic. How frustrating of a period has this been for you?
It's been. I mean, I was meant to be out last year. I had a few times I had a date, and then because the pandemic got kind of delayed, and then when eventually we got an official date, which was November 2000. Last year, November 13. I came positive, so it was just it's been a very frustrating year. So I'm just glad that I've officially got a date now, and I've kept myself safe as well. So I've been testing myself every week, making sure I come out negative on that.
Finally, we've kind of a day, we're only a week away now. Hopefully, everything goes to plan and you can box next weekend. Talks about kind of the ring rust effects. We've seen a lot of fighters come back who haven't been able to box throughout this pandemic. The most high profile being Josh Warrington last week. He hadn't been able to box through a pandemic, and then he loses to Maurizio Lara. It was a shock for most people. Just kind of your thoughts heading into next week. Do you feel you will have a lot of ring rust to be wary of and just to kind of shake off in the opening rounds?
Yeah, I think because I've been out for a long time, I think I might have a little bit of ring rust. But after first two rounds, I think I should be back to normal. I mean, we've been getting great sparring. I've had some great sparring partners, and I've been sparring Dennis McCann. I've been sparring Hamza from GB. So I've just been sparring active fighters that are fighting even the amateur on the GB squad team, or I've been officially been fighting recently. So we look great. I think it takes about a round, 2 rounds for me to really get warmed up, but should be okay.
Boxing behind closed doors as well, KAISY. How do you feel about that? How have you kind of have you looked at all to try to emulate have you looked to emulate boxing without a crowd in your gym sessions or?
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be similar to fighting like in amateur times. They won't many people. They're about 15, 20 people all together. So I think it'll be similar to that. So not really, they really bother. I just want to get in there and get the fight, man.
Guys, obviously see the excitement for you to get back out next week, but with that excitement, does it bring any added pressure because you haven't been able to get out as of yet? Shows are kind of only just returning this year. Do you feel a pressure to perform and perform well to make sure you are one of the first names that Frank or somebody else will think of to get onto one of the next shows when you're fit and ready?
Definitely, there's a little bit of pressure. I mean, there's always a pressure on a fighter when they're fighting. But I bet more this time because obviously I'm fighting on BT. It's my first time fighting on BT on a Queensbury platform. So, I think on a fight night, it would be just my main focus be there to get the job done. So not really to impress anyone.
Talk to me about your opponent next week, Ijaz Ahmed. What do you know about him? What are you expecting from him?
I mean, I know he's a Midland champion and he's fought for a WBO European against Harvey Horn. He gives out his best, and he's a fighter. He comes in to fight, and there's a big win for him. So he's definitely gonna come try do everything he can, and he had the longest camp probably, so he's very prepared, and I think that's gonna bring the best out of him. So.
And what should everybody be expected to see from yourself? Because you say you've had a very long camp for this ring return for yourself. What have you been working on? What should everybody expect to see from you?
It will be a lot of skill, and it will be a surprise will hopefully. So I'm trying to put a surprise there. So because I've had a right injured hand from my last 3 fights, so my right hand had a private operation last year. So I'm just ready to use that properly this time. So it will definitely be a good surprise for everyone.
Now, with the WBO and the IBF European titles on the line next week, KAISY, is this kind of the year for you to look to pick up as many titles as you can? Is that kind of the aim for you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my management team has worked very hard to get me up the world ranking on all these sanctions on all these official belts. So if I can go up the rank and maybe get a chance by the end of this year to fight for a title, hopefully at the beginning of next year.
I mean, let's touch on that. You know, let's say next Saturday goes to plan. How do you see the remainder of 2021 playing out for you?
I see myself having 2 to 3 more fights. You know, if I could put a good performance in this fight, I can see myself coming out 2 to 3 more times this year, and end the year really well. Maybe even get a title shot. You know, a world title shot by the end of this year if I could put great performance in this fight.
Now, of course, KAISY, next weekend, the fight you are on the undercard of is the Kakachi Woodstock bout. Originally was Herring Frampton. Is that kind of a bittersweet thing? Because there's a lot of people who would have tuned in to watch that fight. There still will be a lot of people to tune in, but Herring Frampton for a world title would have been massive for you to have been on that undercard.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm a great fan of Frampton, so it would have been a massive card, you know, he'd been as a main event. But you know, he had the small little injury, and I know those kind of big title fight makes a big difference. So I'm glad he's taking a rest off. But no, nothing added to me. I mean, I'm just, you know, the same as always. Go there and put a performance and get the job done.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier on to me you've been sparring Dennis McCann. There's a lot of excitement around Dennis and as to what he can achieve in the pro game. What are your thoughts with your sparring sessions with Dennis? Do you see that potential for him to go all the way into, you know, we've seen the Nas comparisons. Do you see that kind of element within Dennis?
Yeah, Dennis is definitely a young talent and definitely is going to go very far. You know, I see him being a multiple weight champion, world champion, and he's got the hype's so real around him, and you know, he's really great talent, and you know, yeah, I mean, he's a great friend of mine. He's helped me out for this camp, spar me, so yeah, I'm grateful for that, man, and definitely he's going to be a star.
Right, KAISY, as I say, it's Saturday, so I'm going to leave you to enjoy it. But final thing, I want you to come on. I want to leave with your final words for everybody who will tune in next week and will continue to follow your journey for the rest of 2021. What would you like to say to them?
Tune in. It's going to be a great fight. Two fights going to put all in, you know, to get both the belt, and I'm there to surprise everyone and put a great performance on. So everyone tune in. It's going to be an exciting fight.
KAISY, it's been a pleasure to talk to you for the first time. I'm sure it will not be the last. Best of luck next weekend, and I will speak to you
Thank you.
soon. Thank you for speaking
Thank
to
you
me,
very much.
Social.
Thank you for having me.